Climate change is an incredibly complex issue, and using just today's technologies won't allow us to meet our ambitious goals. The reason is that almost all of our zero carbon technologies are more expensive than their fossil fuel counterparts. To provide all the benefits of the modern lifestyle to people around the world, we need new zero carbon products that are just as affordable, that have what I call a green premium of zero. We need to develop and deploy breakthrough technologies that allow us to eliminate emissions throughout the physical economy. Second, we need to tap the power markets to fund and deploy these innovations, for example, by finding creative ways to finance technologies and by leveling the playing field so they can compete with fossil fuels. Governments and corporations need to adopt policies that will make it faster and cheaper to make the transition, and leaders will need to reward those who take difficult steps.